Lions fans, and welcome to episode 30 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, how you doing after this draft?
Oh, I'm great. I got my new Jared Goff jersey. Looking pretty good. I didn't even have to pay express shipping. I got it a day after I ordered it. Draft was great this weekend. We're gonna get all into that. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
All right, that sounds good. Still waiting on
How are
my
you?
jersey.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
doing good. Well, yeah, I'm still waiting on my jersey. I won't get it for maybe about 20 more days or so. So
Jeez, that's because you
yeah,
went with the wrong Lions jersey. The blue ones are the only ones.
I think
Let's
I went with
go.
the right one because everyone else wanted that jersey too. So I think I
Y'all
did the right
wrong.
thing.
Y'all wrong. You gotta get the blues, man. These are where it's at.
Yeah. All right. On today's show, we're going to go over some Lions news, including our visit to the draft and our thoughts on it. And then we're going to go over the Detroit Lions draft picks this weekend. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether it's on the YouTube channel or on your podcast.
Cat alert. Yes. I love it. Yes.
Oh.
It's what we're all here for. Yes.
But
Good to see you, Frank.
yeah. Okay. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on the YouTube channel or on your podcast platform of choice. You can leave.
Can't even get through the intros. Cats.
Yeah.
You gotta feed them.
No, it's the garbage truck here. It's picking up the garbage, and the cat's freaking out about it.
What?
But anyways, you can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media. We're gonna have to redo this.
No, you're not. This is great. This is gold.
Come on.
Oh, I guess I could finish it for Kyle. You can find us on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description below. Now, let's send it back over to Kyle, who threw his cat out of the room. Let's get to some news.
All right. So first, Lions news. Not really news, but let's do this before we get into our thoughts on the draft. The Detroit Lions broke the attendance record at 775,000 attendants, previously held by Nashville back in 2019 with 600,000 fans. First day, they had a attendance of 2,500,000 people. They had to basically close the gates. They couldn't let any more people in because of capacity issues, all that stuff. So that happened. Second day, and another big turnout. And even on Saturday when we went, I felt it was pretty packed. A lot of people showing up, even as we were leaving around, was it 2:30? We kind of, I think we left.
People were
There's
still flooding in, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people still pouring in there. So yeah, big props to the city of Detroit for hosting that event, all their stuff they did there. A lot of people helping out. Everyone on the corner, just asking people how they're doing, if they need help. A lot of one thing that stood out to me was a lot of police presence, like on every corner. You felt like you were safe. Nothing bad was going to happen. So yeah, just a big shout out to the city of Detroit on putting that event there.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, just strictly talking about that, the numbers, the record. I mean, Detroit showed out. I think even if Detroit was still a bad football team, I think the fans still would have shown up. It's a once in a lifetime event, hosting the draft in your city pretty much. And for Detroit, hosting anything like this has been a rarity. I mean, we had a Super Bowl 20 years ago now. Now we got a big draft. There's rumors now that we could be getting a basketball or a hockey all-star game or something, which would be pretty huge in Detroit. So the city of Detroit's come a long way in the last 15, 20 years, and it helps having a good football team because that city showed that they're a football town. The state of Michigan is a football state, and it helps when we're great.
Yeah, even on the way home today, listening to Costa, they were talking about, the draft is like 4 year in advance. I'm kind of curious if the next four places they go to, if their attendance record isn't that high, if maybe Roger Goodell and the NFL kind of go say, hey, maybe let's try Detroit again and see what they can do. Um, because yeah, it definitely showed that Detroit can hold these kind of events, and the way they set everything up was just, in my book, was just great.
Right, and who knows how they could alter it to let in more people because with the amount of people we saw there, if they would have allowed everybody in, they probably could have cracked 1 million people, which would have been awesome. But and that's over the course of the 3 days. So I don't know. We'll see
Yeah,
that the so far Chicago got it twice, right? It went Chicago twice, then they started moving it around. Even Goodell's basement got it at one point. That was weird, right? We all remember that one.
yeah,
Uh,
that was during COVID.
yep. So I mean, shoot, maybe we'll get lucky, Kyle. Maybe we can host it in your man cave. Just let us know NFL we're available.
Yeah,
Capacity of probably like 5 people. But no, like we'll see. They haven't shown repeat yet, other than Chicago that first year because they were just trying it out. They haven't gone back to those other cities. Like Nashville was such a big hit for them. Why haven't they gone back to Nashville yet? Or why wasn't Nashville in, you know, the range of plans? Maybe they go back to Nashville and Detroit now. The two biggest parties they had. So we'll see. They got what did they say? It's Green Bay's next year.
yep.
The year after that is it New
Steelers.
Pittsburgh, then New Orleans, then it's Washington D.C.,
Yep.
which could all be four great cities. We'll see. I was just in Pittsburgh last year. That could be fun. I think that could be great. I don't know if they'd quite reach what Detroit did, as big as a football town as that is. Maybe they will. That's a big football area too. Kind of the cradle of football from the origins of the game. That could be huge. I think Pittsburgh could do it too. Pittsburgh is going to get close to maybe matching what Detroit did. New Orleans is always a party down there. And then Washington, D.C., we'll see. But Green Bay might, of those new locations coming up, Green Bay might have the hardest time getting to where Detroit was. I'm not saying it's impossible. And no slight against Green Bay, even though I hate the Packers. But I think that town, I've been there. They could probably do something. I'm sure people will flood to it. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think just one thing that helped out Detroit was just the location of it, being around all the other major cities, which yeah, I think that played a big part in their success as far as attendance went. So yeah, let's move on here. Our thoughts on the draft as a whole. So we went Saturday or Sunday. Sorry. Well, we got there around 8:30. Didn't open up until 9. We sat in the car for about 20 minutes, and as soon as we got out, I felt like the rain just stopped. Um, so which was a good thing, because being rainy on a draft day would kind of suck.
It
So
was great. The weather
yeah, we had
got
to
that
walk a
was.
few. What's
Go
that?
ahead. No, go ahead.
We had to walk a few blocks. Luckily, like draft NFL people were out there helping us, kind of telling us where to go to get into it. We walked right in, walked around, a lot of stuff set up, like helmets of each team, different uniforms of each team, people taking pictures. We walked through a couple areas, um, uniform locker room kind of set up. They had a um, Heisman trophy there, couple of Heisman winner busts there as well of Detroit Lions players. And then we ended up going into this like tent setup. You wanted to check it out. Bunch of different activities in there. But so you guys, you and your dad got like football picture taken or whatever, and I kind of wandered off towards the exit, and they had a stage there, and I was just kind of waiting around. I was thinking like maybe I would go outside, just wait. Um, but luckily, the guy there, he does like announcement at the games, like pre-game stuff. He'll kind of talk to different people, and they'll show it on the big board. But he out of nowhere announced Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to come up on the stage. So I was about 3 rows back, and I was like, "Oh, holy cow, what the heck's going on?" So Amon-Ra came up on stage, spoke to the crowd. Everyone was on their phones taking pictures. He did a selfie. Um, the star that I was, got into that selfie picture. So if you're if you follow the Detroit Lions on X or Facebook, you'll see me in that picture. Um, all I ask is for if you want an autograph from me, it's about $5 a autograph. So just let me know. But yeah, we got that done with. We got out and we ended up at the NFL draft area, which I thought you had to get tickets to go into that area, but it was free for everyone. And yeah, we stood around for about what do you like an hour? We stood there waiting for the draft pick,
Yeah, yeah.
and the Lions moved up, which surprised us. So we stayed for that. And after that pick, we walked out, and Lions got another trade up for another pick. We saw that, and but yeah, overall, I think the I had a really fun time there.
Right on. Well, Kyle pretty much just gave everybody a nice, quicker summary of our video we posted on our YouTube channel about our trip to the draft than the video itself. So go ahead and check that out if you get a chance. Look, it was a good time. Like there was a lot of stuff I didn't include in the video, including like you were talking about the weather. I forgot to mention that the weather got better. I mean, you can clearly see it in the video, but it was fantastic weather. The Amon-Ra thing was great. Like you obviously being that close. I mean, if you watch that video too from the one I posted, I could see you. I found you several rows in front of me, so I could see you and I can see Amon-Ra. What just stinks is I can't find me in his selfie. That's the only thing that stinks. But it was such a cool experience, and like we say in the video, go check it out. The draft, if it's in your town, if it's not, if it's within driving distance, if you can make plans to take a long weekend and just go to the draft, regardless of how good or bad your team is, do it. The fans are always great. Everybody was so nice. Like I get it, it was a lot of Lions fans, but we were around. We had a couple Browns fans next to us who seemed nice. We were around some Bears fans. Yes, even they were nice. We joked around with them after they drafted a punter. Uh, there was plenty of Packer fans. You can kind of, everybody was cool. There wasn't any, I don't remember hearing anybody being belligerent. Uh, I don't remember anybody just being like straight up mean. Yeah, there was boos, but it was like all in fun. You're supposed to
Oh
boo the
yeah,
other teams. So it was like all in good fun, and it was great. It was a fun experience, and I'm glad we got to do it. So
yeah, yeah. Especially there. Yeah, you met a couple people. You met Jack Fox's uncle. He was there, and then on our way out, Billy Sims, which I didn't really know of because that was
yeah,
before my time.
host of a Lions podcast, and he doesn't know who Billy Sims is.
Oh,
Do your history, loser. That was something else I got criticized for, was calling you a loser on the video. We do it all in good fun here.
yeah.
But no, yeah, I got my signed Billy Sims, number 20, 78 Heisman. Oh, it was great. Heck of a deal, too, when we walked by. Because it was just Billy Sims with his Billy Sims barbecue tent. He was signing Oklahoma jerseys. He had a bunch of Oklahoma mini helmets. I didn't remember how much those were. If you were to, I think the helmets might have been $50 to get signed. But when they said $60 to get a signed football, and you get a picture on, like the guy let me have a picture anyway on top of getting the football, like it was a win. I was like, this ball itself is probably more than $60. And I got a
Oh
Billy
yeah.
Sims autograph on a $60, like a football that should have been more than 60. Complete win, complete steal. Uh and then I bought it for Dad. So the story's gonna go that all Dad wanted was the $10 picture. He's like, I'll pay $10. That's all I need. And he paid for his picture, but then I said, you're getting a football. It's only $60. I'm getting you one of those footballs. So I bought him the football. Got me one. Got it. We both got him signed. We got our picture taken with Billy Sims. It was great. Dad obviously watched Billy Sims play, so it was probably a lot more. It means a lot more to Dad than me. But knowing my Lions history, and Billy Sims is kind of the forgotten running back before Barry Sanders. Like they say he's the BS before BS. Billy Sims before Barry Sanders. It wore number 20. And if it weren't for a horrible injury, you know, he probably would have been considered the greatest Lions running back of all time. Uh, that's not even an exaggeration. He probably would have been. He was fantastic. And I was just completely and utterly shocked that a Lions podcast host such as yourself had no idea who he was when we mentioned his name. And the fact that you couldn't bother to get your camera out, like, hey, these guys are doing something. Let me videotape this for them.
No,
Thanks a
no.
lot. Thanks a lot, bud.
I was being hassled for $20 for a chain, so couldn't be bothered with that.
Who hassled you about that?
Some guy wanted to sell me a chain for $20, and I told him no.
Oh, well, why didn't you do it? Was it a good chain?
No. It was
Oh,
probably
okay.
$5, and this guy,
Oh, I would have haggled him. $5.
no. So, anyways, yeah, that's a cool thing to see. Like, I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't know if it was like maybe 10 years from now when Barry Sanders is doing that, I'll get a sign ball and autograph.
Jeez, you do it now for Barry. So what are you talking about 10 years from now?
Well, I don't
God.
think Barry Sanders is at that stage in his life where he's got a.
I'll tell you right now, he ain't going to be out on the corner underneath his barbecue, tent. Like, he's still going to be involved with the team. Good Lord.
Yeah, yeah, I saw the barbecue thing. I was like, man, where's the food at?
Oh, huh. Well, no, we'd eaten at Billy Sims. He has a chain of barbecue stuff. They had a place in Ford Field for a while for Billy Sims barbecue. Dad and I went down when we went to see the Cotton Bowl back in 2017. We drove through Oklahoma and we went to oh crap, what's that town? Oklahoma City. And there was a Billy Sims barbecue there too. I don't think we ate at it, but we found a location just down there randomly. Like, hey, look, it's a Billy Sims barbecue. So it's it is what it is. And hey, Billy Sims follows us on uh, X, so we know we made it. We know we made it.
All right, cool. So yeah, I guess next time I see Billy Sims, I'll apologize and get an autograph.
You're not. I'm not gonna let you get anywhere near Billy Sims. I'm not gonna let you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make him charge you double for whatever it is you're trying to do.
he'll probably give me a discount. So
No, he won't. I'll make sure he doesn't.
yeah, okay. So
Billy,
moving
do
on
not give
here.
this man a discount.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on here. Let's just jump into it. The Lions draft picks. What they had 7 at the start of the draft, I think. They gave one away. So first
You
round,
gave one away. You make it sound like that was a charity thing. Like, here, just take a draft pick, somebody. That ain't what happened. We're gonna talk about the Brad Holmes absolute fleecing he did over this draft.
yeah. So let's get into it. Round 1, Lions had pick 29. About that time, everyone was probably in bed because it was late.
We had to work.
Yeah, work next day. Brad Holmes did his magic. He moved up to pick 24, trading with the Cowboys, which I thought that was kind of weird. With the Cowboys and the fiasco last year when they played them, and Cowboys got handed that one. But they chose Terrion Arnold. A lot of people say Taron Arnold, but I think it's
Terry and Arnold.
Terrion Arnold.
Yep.
Defensive back from Alabama. One of the top, I think the top pick in the defensive back room. A lot of people throwing out, what was the other guy's name? Quentin Johnson, I think.
Quentin. I forget what it is. I forget. Clearly, I'm no draft expert. But the kid from Toledo, he went a couple picks before.
Yeah.
Arnold. So
Yeah, that was
it Erickson?
yeah.
Quentin
The
Erickson or
Lions'
something?
first pick was 24.
Yep.
I think everyone's saying he's going to be across from jeez.
Across
Forget.
from what? Across from wide receivers, because that's the position.
Well,
That's the
that too,
position he's from.
but the trade they got, what's his name?
We got. Put me on the spot. Dang it, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm not ready
Look, all I
today.
know about this kid, I don't care where they're going to put him. Whether he's a starter day one or he's a guy that's going to slowly rotate in and get used to the defense. My thing here is though, this kid came in with the absolute mentality that you want. It was great to also see him drafted in Detroit, being there in the building, and to have all those fans there already for night one that just
Yeah.
absolutely were waiting for him to get picked. They didn't know who they were going to pick, but when it was him and he went out there and he got to see it and he said he was home, it that seems like it's hard to quantify or to fully just tell you how it feels. It feels like it was meant to be. Like when he walked out there, he said he was home. It just felt like the right vibe. It felt like the right mixture of you know the right type of player in the right situation. And I'm already in love with the kid. He put up that video of him sleeping in his draft hat. He went to sleep a lion, woke up a lion. I'm loving everything about this kid right now. I can't be happier for him. Seems like a good kid. And I even watched Belichick on, I think it was the Pat McAfee's stream for the draft, break him down. And what I liked about that was he showed some of the negatives, like kind of like where he could use some improvement. Usually you don't hear that a lot with some of the higher picks in the first round, especially. Like you just hear about all the good stuff. But I like that it was like, hey, look, he can get a little soft. He tends to do this, but that's the stuff we work on. That's the stuff he's going to have to learn, and I'm very excited about this pick.
Yeah, so I looked it up. He'll probably play across from Carlton Davis. He'll be the number 2 defensive back. Um, so yeah, the whole draft picks, like this one and the second one here, I think, and the pickup that the Lions did for the cornerback room is a major step up from last year. So
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, be on the lookout for that. See how different it is from last year's games. It'll be interesting. So let's move on to round number 2. Pick 61. They did not move up for this one. They they drafted, was it Ennis Rakestraw Jr., defensive back from Missouri. These two, him and Terrion Arnold, are both what Aaron Glenn loves about playing cornerback. They are press man coverage cornerbacks. That means they want to throw them off at the line, throw their hands up, disrupt their routes, and play man to man, which that is Aaron Glenn's number one focus for being the defensive coordinator. So yeah, another big, massive pick for Brad Holmes. I know everyone was wanting a offensive line,
Yeah.
maybe a wide receiver. I think they were wanting, but yeah, after these 2 picks, I think everyone is in full agreement that Brad Holmes did his job right and picked what was best for the Lions culture.
Yeah, fit for the culture, and like he said, I think in one of his press conferences, these were 2 of their, if not the 2, top corners on their board, and you got him. If that's true, if Brad Holmes ain't just spinning it, and if that's legit, and he got his guy, what can you do? You got your guys, and now we got 2 more corners in a cornerback room that we've been criticizing the last couple of years. They've slightly improved every year a little bit, but we've still been like, come on, can we get some more playmakers? Can we get some guys who are actually gonna lock it down? Sutton last year, before his whole ordeal in the offseason, we were like, well, he kind of got soft there at the end. This is what we needed. This is the shot in the arm. I think that defensive back room needs a couple of young bloods come in and provide competition. And like Holmes said in one of the press conferences, this is competition. There's no guaranteed spot. These guys could play from anywhere from CB1 to CB5. We'll find out. They got to go against guys who have been in this league and earn their spots. And if and when we get to the season, if either of those 2 guys are starting or in the starting lineup, that means they've earned it. I don't
Yeah,
think Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, and Brad Holmes are going to let players just get put in the starting lineup that don't earn it. And we're at that stage now in building this team. This team has been built up to now where it's you got to earn your spot. It's not handed to you. We're not. It's while there is still some plug and play, and there will be talent. Guys are going to earn spots now. Like there's going to be guys on our roster that are going to be in jeopardy of not getting roster spots because we've improved so much. The guys that we liked will have to cut ties with, be like, hey, sorry, we got to make room for so and so now because they're just that good. And while you're good, we just can't keep everybody. We're going to be losing good guys, but hopefully getting better players, and that's how you build a championship roster.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of people saying that the cornerback room or defensive back room has turned into a bloodbath with trying to get a starting spot on this team, which I think
It's
that's going to bring out a lot. Even with like Jared Goff, wide receiver, sharp as Penei Sewell and Hutchinson will put it, sharpening iron with iron. So
yeah,
overall, I think this is going to work out for everyone.
I guess it is. I think so.
So let's move on here. Round three, Lions move up to pick 126, and
That's
they
round 4.
are round four.
Yeah,
What I
because
say?
they traded their third round pick to move up those 5 spots in the first
Yeah,
round to go pick up Arnold. So we didn't have a third round pick, and I forget where we started the day at our original pick in the fourth round, but they moved up to 126, and we were there for that one.
yeah. So they pick Giovanni Manu, offensive
Manu,
tackle. What?
Manu,
Manu,
the
Manu.
one guy who didn't have a picture on the video screen when they made the pick. Like, everybody else had a picture except for Giovanni, and I'm like, oh no, it's Jelani Tavai all over again.
Well,
But
he is
that
from
was
the
my first thought.
Yeah, he's from the University of British Columbia, so I don't think this guy was on a lot of people's radars. But when I say this guy is a tall person, like he is 6'7", 352 pounds. So obviously, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell saw something in this guy because this guy is a mountain of a man. I don't think he's going to start right away. Obviously, he's
Probably
not when
not.
you got Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell. He might be like a swing tackle halfway through the season if needed. But I expect him to be hopefully a starting tackle in the next couple years, depending on if the Lions work out a contract extension with Taylor Decker. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm kind of curious on what the Lions do with this guy here.
It'll be interesting. Like when I first heard it, I wasn't like I was like, oh, okay, we're getting this guy. Never heard of him, but I like that he's kind of a project. The offensive line is set. We pretty much have our
Yeah.
starting 5. We've got a couple of good backups that are decent depth pieces to where you feel confident plugging them in. Now you add another piece of depth, a raw talent like this that you can mold and shape and find out really what we could do with him. Like, how can we use him? Is he going to be the new shoot? Sorry, Mr. Dan Skipper. Whenever we do those plays where we're going to throw it to one offensive lineman, we're putting in a 6'7", 350-pound guy to come in and get that 4th and 1 and knock over some fools, or do we put him in and on a extra blocking package and just push that line on 4th and 1 and Montgomery runs it for what we need? I think there's a lot they could do, but he's so raw, and there's not a whole lot on the kid, but very exciting. And Brad Holmes, they got to be doing their homework, because I mean they grabbed the defensive player of the year up in Canada for the CFL and brought him to Detroit. So maybe while they were up there in Canada eating some poutine, maybe they decided to check out some Canadian college football and stumbled upon this kid. So
Yeah, it'll be if this guy works out and Matthew Betts, the edge rusher, if they work out, I think Brad Holmes needs to give that the Canadian scout guy a raise.
yeah, give him a couple more loonies to put in his pocket. Maybe an extra jar of maple syrup. A couple more Mounties on their I don't know. Just to throwing out Canadians terminal.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on here, round four, Lions moved up again. This is when we were on our way out. We were surprised at pick 132. The Lions picked, was it so? I'm
I'd
butchering
say
his name,
Zio.
so I'm sorry.
I'd say Sion Vakai is how I
Yep,
pronounced it.
Sion Vakai. This is a kind of everyone was kind of wondering, like they announced him as a running back out of Utah, but apparently he plays safety as well. Kind of a gadget player. Plays, I guess, is really good on special teams as well. So I think Brad Holmes in his press conference was saying we're going to use this guy as a running back. So yeah, we'll have to see what they decide how to use this guy here.
It'll be interesting. And again, another one of those picks where you're kind of like, all right, Brad, what you got cooking? I mean, we got running back depth. I mean, we could always use a safety, but I'm willing to take a flyer on this kid if you see something in him.
Yeah, especially round four. You got people like Amon-Ra who was picked in round four, so you never know. Maybe this
You
guy
never know. Yep.
comes out of nowhere and is just another star for the Detroit Lions. So we'll see.
Yep.
So
And
moving on.
that pick will also always be known as the hat, as the pick Randy lost his hat at the draft. Dad had his hat. He was videotaping the screen, and the wind was blowing, and his hat just shot right off. It was great. So I'm always going
Yeah.
to remember Vakai for that pick, for that happening. Randy's hat. I'll always remember Giovanni Manu for when we were there at the draft. So 2 Lions right there. I'm going to always keep an eye out, on just because we were there.
Yep. So the Lions, round six. These next couple of draft picks, I think everyone was saying they were both a steal for the Lions. Round six, pick 189. The Lions draft Mekhi Wingo, a defensive tackle from LSU. They traded up for him. Big thing about this guy, he's a team captain with 98 total tackles, 13 tackles for loss, interception, forced fumble. Biggest thing is like he doesn't quit on his plays. He's one of those guys, high motor, always finishes play, loves to play football, and that's a Detroit Lions to the T. Um, a lot of people saying he should have been picked higher. So the fact that he fell to this low, and Brad Holmes obviously saw something in him and moved up to grab him. So yeah, another big grab for the Brad Holmes there.
Yep. I
And
got nothing
then
on him.
yeah, round six, pick 110, last pick of the day or draft for the
210.
Lions.
210.
Yeah, 210. Sorry.
Okay.
The Lions draft Christian Mahogany guard out of Boston College. Again, um, one of those picks where people felt he should have gone a lot higher than he did, and then get drafted by the Lions. I think this is going to be another. I don't know if he'll ever start, but I think will be a good backup for the Lions if one of the guards gets hurt. So I think his he didn't allow a sack um, when he was played, and he posted a 0.3% pressure rate. So yeah, I think this is another good depth for the Lions.
Yep, for sure. On the whole, they hit a couple of offensive linemen. They got their defensive tackle we talked about. They addressed cornerback and addressed it extremely well with 2 guys. And then, you get a couple of flyers on guys like Vakai, safety running back. What kind of combo is that? And then, obviously with Giovanni Manu, you get a flyer on him. This is how you draft. And, not as many big flashy names as I think like in years past where Campbell, obviously Gibbs and Laporta and Campbell were kind of names that were kind of already thrown out there, and Deion Branch or Brian Branch, in the draft were names that we'd heard about going into it. This year, I don't know if it's because we aren't living in that same old Lions mentality where it's the draft is our Super Bowl. Now the draft is going to be a spot for us to just reload and try to go at it again. So I wasn't as like feverishly like who are we gonna pick or what are some of the names. I was kind of like let Brad Holmes do his thing. Let him do his thing. I'm gonna trust him. I don't need to scour the mock drafts. I don't need to, you know, feel like I'm a scout and look up a pro day for LSU or whatever. Like, just draft good football players. The Lions are in capable hands now. That's the big thing.
Yeah, especially Terrion Arnold, I think, was going to be a big help. Um, I expect with the roster they have this year on offense didn't really change much, so I expect the offense to be as good as it was, probably a little better with the rookies having the year two under their belt coming up, and then defensively with the defensive back upgrade we have, I hope, and I expect to see that we're not going to be close games anymore. Um, and we're not worried about like these star wide receivers on the other team going for 100 plus yards with 2 touchdowns. I expect that to kind of, um, I guess, fault or kind of go down. I guess as I'm
I
kind
know
of
what you're trying to say. Yeah, you
yeah
expect that production to kind of, you know, ease down a bit.
yeah
They won't, meet them. I get exactly what you're saying because they did allow so much in terms of receivers just gashing them for yards. I don't know if that's scheme, but now you're gonna have the playmakers and the players on there that all you can blame is scheme, not the guys. So we'll find out this year. But we'll see. I mean, everybody in the NFC North pretty much did fantastic with their drafts. A lot of improvement. Every team kind of improved in the NFL. That's the whole point of the draft. But I think with Brad Holmes' track record, I think the uh, likelihood of some of these guys being busts is extremely low. Maybe not extremely, but you know what I mean. Like I'm more confident that these guys are going to pan out or fit some sort of roles. Because who knows? Arnold might not end up being cornerback one ever, but maybe he becomes a very solid cornerback two. Which, hey, whatever, a start. A starter's a starter. I mean, at that position, you hope that he's going to be cornerback one, but you never know. So I'm just glad we're going to get a guy that can play and seems to have the right attitude. And I hope he's CB1. I'm very excited to see Arnold out there. So
yeah we'll see. The only thing I'm gonna add to this is I think Aaron Glenn finally got his people. So this year coming up is gonna be a big test for Aaron Glenn if he can get that defense rolling how he wants to. Um, I think if he does good this year on that defensive side, I would imagine he'd get a bunch of coaching interviews, maybe even a coaching job coming up
him,
in the
I mean
year after
that's been in
this.
the forecast for the last couple of years. Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, but for whatever reason, I mean, I'm glad they stayed and are going to stick with Detroit. But you're in year 4. Uh, I would like to see that defense take the next step. I mean, I've had a problem with Aaron Glenn. I've been saying for a couple of years I thought he should have been gone. But here it is. I'm going to give him this year. This is the make or break year for Aaron Glenn's defense, and they gotta. I would love to see them be a top 5 defense. They got to get there. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. This team ain't going to go far if we're not a top 10 or top 5 defense.
yeah, we'll all see. Lions did pick up a bunch of UDFA's. If you want to check that out, just go on the Detroit website. They'll have a bunch of information on that. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
Not really. I mean, yeah, you could go find the unrestricted free agents, undrafted free agents. There's a whole slew of them. I've been seeing them trickle in. It's always a whole bunch of guys. So we'll see. Can't wait for training camp now. Uh, Off season stuff. It'll be preseason before we know it. And man, it just feels good.
Yeah, we'll see. Um, Training camp. When is that?
Oh, usually end of July, beginning of August.
Okay, so yeah, we got a little bit here.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, let's close it out then.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed watching today's show. Uh, or listening to it, however you guys decide to partake in viewing what we do. Um, we hope you come back for more. Be sure to visit theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want to get in touch with us, feel free to email us at theworldoffootball or info@theworldoffootball.com. Or you can connect with us by liking our Facebook page, following us on X or Instagram. Links for those will be down in the description below. Be sure to also check out our flagship podcast, This Week in the World of Football, which I do with my dad, Randy, every single Tuesday. So we'll probably be recapping our draft experience again. We'll probably be talking about the draft. A lot of arena football news this weekend that, okay, it's craziness. So we're going to have a lot to talk about if you want to go check out that show every Tuesday. Also, you guys can like and subscribe, all that to the YouTube channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. We hit over 800 subscribers. We're on our way to 900, then 1,000. So we appreciate all that. Again, guys, links down in the description below.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. Thanks for watching. Lions do have about 5 or 6 spots still open on their rosters. So if they make like a huge signing in the free agency, we'll cover that. If not, we should be back for like a training camp episode or maybe something else. So just be on the lookout for that. Again, thanks for liking, subscribing, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Yep. See you guys soon, hopefully.